people, I'm back. Technical issues sorted. Last night's edition could not be brought to you because I was in the land of Nod, to be honest. Yes, I fell asleep. But I'm back, I'm awake, and tonight is Friday's edition of Caesar Wisdom, last one for the week, unless anything really grabs me on a Saturday. But I hope everyone is well. Hope you didn't miss yesterday's edition too much. Forgive me. I'll try not to let it happen again. So this is linked to my last Facebook Live 2 days ago where I talked about finding your lane. Where are you in life? Are you in the slow lane, middle lane, fast lane? You're at the service station taking a break. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook, obviously. So link to that. This is one I've been thinking about for a while, but it kind of ties in nicely with this, about fueling yourself. So how do you fuel yourself? What am I talking about? Food and drink, but mostly food. How do you feed yourself? I was thinking about this a few weeks ago, the amount of stuff that's out on the market at the moment. And yes, I'm talking about the food industry because, believe it or not, the food industry is a business. So these things that these companies are promoting as healthy or one of your 5 a day, they have got their own interests at heart more than yours. So you really need to be educated about this. And there's not a lot of education out there about food. And it's something I'm looking into myself for my own purposes. But all you fitness coaches out there, all you nutritionists out there, you need to be pushing this. You need to be getting this on the school's curriculum. I'm not talking about GCSE cooking and whatever it's called nowadays. Proper nutritionist information for the individual, not the masses. So some of you wondering why diets are not working for you. Why is one diet? I don't even like that word diet because diet indicates, hey Ray, how you doing, man? Diet indicates it's a temporary thing where you need to be even thinking off the top of my head. Diet really, it means how you eat, but we often use the word diet to indicate we're going to do something temporary to lose some weight, and then once that's done, you go back to normal. So, but one diet for one person may work wonders, and for the other person may why not, because we're all different. We have different metabolisms. We're made up differently. So you really need to find what works for you, and this needs to be on school's curriculum, proper education on nutrition, and it needs to be taught by people who've got knowledge of nutrition. So yeah, how do we fuel ourselves? What do we eat? And I kind of put a little bit on the ends that some people, and it's true, some people treat their car better than they treat themselves. So give you a live example. Once I hired out a car. It was my sister's graduation. Took the family down to Brighton from London in an MPV. Hey Josh, how you doing? Congratulations on your driving test. I saw the tweet. Sorry, I've just gone on Twitter. I'm getting myself all mixed up. Facebook recently. So yeah, night before, picked up this hire car. I can't remember which way around it was. Went to fuel it. I put the wrong fuel in because I had the wrong fuel cap on. And I didn't get very far before the car just stopped. I spent most of the night being towed away, and I literally had to drain all the fuel out, clean it up, and put the correct fuel in. Barely got 2 hours sleep, and really and truly I shouldn't have driven. I was struggling to stay awake. Air conditioning was blasting in my face. I can't remember what happened in my sister's graduation. I slept through it, and really I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been driving, but I'm older and I'm wiser now and I wouldn't do it again. So you will know what happens if you put the wrong fuel in your car. If you put diesel in an unleaded car and vice versa, it will not work because it does not run on that particular fuel. Diesel cars need diesel, petrol cars need unleaded. I know you got hybrid and all the rest of it. I'm trying to keep it simple. So if you're putting the wrong stuff in your body, then your body's not going to work properly. It sounds simple when you put it like that, but every day we're making unwise decisions, myself included, more than anyone, about what we're putting in our bodies and not thinking about. We're just thinking the body's just going to carry on and carry on. Now, for those of you who know me personally, would know I've had a long-standing issue with fatigue and tiredness since I was, at least I can remember, 18. To the point of falling asleep in buses, I've fallen asleep in a nightclub, and yes, the nightclub was open, and I fell asleep, just fatigued. And to look at me, I look quite healthy. I'm quite young. I've been through all the tests pretty much under the sun. Nothing has ever been identified. I look fit and healthy. So why am I suffering from this? And it got to the point I was getting quite paranoid because I kept going for these tests. The only other thing that came up, I had a low vitamin D at one point. I took some vitamin D tablets, and vitamin D levels were fine. But there is a national issue with people not getting enough vitamin D, lack of sunshine and what have you. So that's not uncommon. So I started to get paranoid, like there's something wrong with me and whatever. And basically, what it came down to, I found out by chance, it was intolerance to gluten. And for those of you thinking, did you have a blood test for gluten intolerance? Yes, I did. The blood test came back negative. So there's something in that in itself. Blood tests are not always reliable. They can often depend on many things, time of day you take them. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to expand on that, but they're not always reliable. I have got an intolerance to gluten. I don't know how. I haven't got celiac disease, which is like an aggressive form of gluten intolerance, but it does affect me. And since I've been avoiding gluten, I found myself to massive improvements. Um, so that's one thing I know. But through my reading and research and speaking to nutritionists, there's so many other things that people are suffering from because they're not feeding themselves right. There's something called leaky gut syndrome, and I don't profess to be an expert in all these, so forgive me if I'm using the wrong explanations. But leaky gut syndrome is something to do with we're not putting the right stuff in our body. The gut is not digesting it properly, and these things can take years to repair. Obviously, nowadays we know a lot more. It's not uncommon to see items marked as gluten free, or there's about five different types of milk. I can't personally drink cow's milk. I can have it in my tea, and that's about it. So for years now, I've been having soy milk, and there's so many different varieties. There's almond milk, there's coconut milk, there's rice milk. So much choice of variety. Often more expensive, which you can say is unfair, um, but count the cost of your health. We often underestimate what the value that we put on our health. We think nothing to spend X amount of money on a new phone, a new laptop, but bulk at the price of paying a bit more for a different type of milk or what have you. Um, so I've really had to last few years restrict what I've been eating, um, and it is a challenge. There is a far wide range of gluten free stuff now that's available. And the other thing with gluten free stuff is all what gluten is like a protein, and I seem to have an issue breaking down protein. Um, it just makes it just I imagine my belly working overtime, and it just makes me feel tired and falling asleep. I'm falling asleep at work, and my employer's been really supportive of me, trying to help me to manage that. So and big up my employer. But yeah, it's been a real wake up call, and I've had to start investigating and looking up to what to eat. And it's got to a stage I don't really know what to eat. I went to my cousin's wedding over the last weekend, and obviously going away, it's all well eating stuff at home. That's quite easy. But when you start going out and trying to find things to eat, it comes a lot more challenging. And there's probably I've excluded a lot of things, but there's probably things I can tolerate. But because my gut or whatever is damaged and I need to repair it, it probably can't tolerate at the moment. So I'm personally looking for a nutritionist or someone who's got an expertise in diet and nutrition to work with, because I need something that's individual to me. There's thousands of books out there, but I need something and I need to work with someone to help me ascertain what damage I've done to my body, exactly what in other intolerances or maybe allergies I've got, and then work to repair the body and try and come up with a diet that's right for me and that's kind of manageable as well. So for me, awake is that I've been abusing my body for the last 10, 15 years. A lot of it unbeknown to me, because my diet, before I found out I had a gluten, was based on my family from Ghana, so an African diet, which is both a lot of rice, a lot of heavy wheat, carb-based products, which is probably the total opposite what I should have been eating. Rice is gluten-free, by the way, but a lot of carbs in there. And for breakfast, I used to have 4 or 5 Weetabix. It's got wheat, or cornflakes, which has got wheat. Then I'd have sandwiches, which has got wheat, and all that laced with cow's milk. And it makes me wonder how I even survived in life, putting all that stuff. But you don't know what you don't know. Obviously, I'm a bit more educated now, so I really have to think about what I eat, and it's lifestyle as well. I'm not as doing as much fitness as I used to, but diet and nutrition plays such a massive part. Thank you to all you guys who are watching. I'm kind of in a flirt at the moment, so I don't want to stop, but I do acknowledge you guys. So personally, this is a really important thing, and for my kids as well. And we just think about it, we break it down. If we're putting rubbish in our bodies, we're going to get rubbish out. There's a term saying your body is a temple, but how many of us actually appreciate the body that we've got? As a Christian, I believe God has given me this body, and I need to honour it, but I don't. I abuse it. I push it as far as I can, and when it ultimately can't have enough, it will shut down. And that's what happened to me years and years ago. I was working about 2 or 3 jobs, 7 days a week. After 6 months, I was flat out, and I burnt out. My body gave up on me. And sometimes sickness can do that, forces us to rest and recuperate. So I really want you guys to think about how you're treating your body. What are you putting inside it? What are you eating? Do you value your body? And for me, I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking for someone. I think definitely this is stuff that definitely needs more education about in the wide, what's the word I'm looking for? Mainstream, in the mainstream arena. There we go. And don't rely on the food companies to educate you. Yeah, you know, probably all know the government recommends we eat at least a minimum of 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. I've got a couple of children, so obviously I look for shopping for them, and there's all these sweets and stuff which is marketed as one of your 5 a day, and they've got extracts of fruit or whatever. And the best thing to have for one of your 5 fruit a day is some fruit and veg. But even for me, though, there's certain fruit I can't have. All the fruits that I like sharp, citrusy fruits, sharp apples, sharp plums, but they affect me. And it may be the case that I can tolerate them, but I've done so much damage to my body, I need to repair the body in order to tolerate these fruits. I don't know, I really don't know, so I'm kind of at a wit's end. That's why I'm looking to find someone to work with. And there's different nutritionists who recommend different things. Even vitamins and minerals is another one. I find it really difficult to know where the true value is in vitamins. Some people spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds of vitamins. Some people spend barely minimum. And it's I don't think it's a necessary case of the more that you spend, the better, or the better quality. I don't think it's as simple as that. So I really need to do research or work with someone who knows about these things, that can actually cut through the chaff and let me know what is best. And there's so many vitamins, what's right for me, it might not be right for the next person. Might not be right for, if you guys are still watching, might not be right for Suleiman, might not be right for James, might not be right for Josh, might not be right for Rahat. We are all different. There's similarities, but we're all different. So we need individualized diet plans, individualized nutrition. And you just don't get that from the food industry. They want to market what's profitable for them. They want any kind of taglines, whatever, to make something seem healthy. For example, something has no artificial colorings or flavorings, doesn't necessarily make it healthy. What else is in the product? And sugar has many different forms. If you actually take the time to read the back of a packet of stuff, half of it is like a science lesson. I'm on exam from gum and all this and all that. What is this stuff? What is this stuff? One thing I do know: the first product, the first item in an ingredient is what it's got the most of. Um, so yeah, we need to really wake up and not rely on the industry to educate. It's a business for them. It's a business for them. That's what we've got to remember. Is a business for them. I mean, even a few years ago, and beware of things that become buzz. Organic a few years ago was all the buzz. It was all the rage. Not everything is. It depends what you define as organic as well. That definition of organic means all the companies have to do is adhere to that to get the organic stamp. My cousin Mary Daniels, who's very knowledgeable about these things and for her own experience, and also she's a coach as well. Um, I saw her and we caught up on all family things, but I was talking to her about this, and she said there's a company in particular, I don't know the company, I'm not going to name names, that it works out cheaper for them. They market their stuff as organic, but it's not organic. But it works out cheaper for them to do that and get fined rather than go through the process to have the stuff labelled as organic. I'll just repeat that. This company is selling organic, saying the stuff is organic when it hasn't been certified as organic. They're continuing to do that. They get fined by the relevant agency. They pay the fine and they continue to adopt the same practices because that works out cheaper for them to go through the process to get organic. What does, I know might seem an extreme example, but how many other companies are doing it? And what does that tell you about the food industry? So just because something's organic, what does it mean to be organic? What have they done to get that label, that certificate? So you really, really, and that's why I'm a bit wary of organic. Even soya milk. I told you earlier, I drink soya milk. Uh, Now I'm hearing there's different types of soya milk, genetically modified soya. Uh, it's a minefield. It's a real minefield. You can't trust the food companies. You have no education yourself. In case it comes from your parents. Because in my experience, school cooking just didn't cut it in terms of educating me about food and what to look out for. So who can I trust? Who can I trust? I can read books, yes, but then some people might have an ulterior motive writing these books, or I could say one diet might work so great for someone, but not be for me. I need individualized education. I've done some videos before about the value of coaches in your life and having someone accountable and helping you, an outside figure. And I really feel that there's a need, and I know there's nutritionists and fitness coaches and the rest of it out there, but I feel that people really need to take responsibility and find a suitable nutritionist to work with to really find out about them personally. Allergy testing is a big thing over the last few years, but there's some allergy tests that were not really worth. They're rubbish, to be honest. They're rubbish. But again, it's someone trying to make a quick buck. So it's really difficult to know who to trust, to be honest. So it's kind of been forced upon me because of the intolerance that I have to gluten to kind of, and I'm getting older, and as you get older, especially I'm finding out of the lack of fitness, it doesn't, it catches up with you. So for me, I've always said people trying to do these crash diets or whatever, it's very simple. You watch what you eat and you exercise. That part is simple. Finding out what to eat and what have you, it becomes a little more challenging just because of the general lack of education that has been given to us, but not impossible at all. So, as we know, again, touching on drink, if you put a lot of alcohol, James Gorner, yeah, I agree with that. James is saying, I think the best way is to grow as much of your own as possible. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, what I'm talking about trusting and that, really, the only way is to become a farmer and grow stuff in the back of your garden. But is that totally practical in this day and age? But my wife grows things out in the garden, tomatoes, cucumbers, and what have you. That's the only real way to know that you're getting the right stuff is to grow it yourself, really. But there's things such as farmers markets, and you got your local butchers and things like that as well. I think I'm slowly learning that they're not necessarily um, more expensive than the supermarkets. Again, the supermarkets do a great job of um, marketing to us. James saying he's failed many times. At least you tried, James. I haven't even started, so you're a step ahead of me on that point. Um, but I've lost my train of thought. Anyhow, um, yeah, you just need to educate yourself. That's what I was going to talk about. Alcohol. We all know if you drink too much alcohol, your body's going to suffer because that's not what it needs. And on a weekly basis, people are going out there abusing themselves, drinking far more than their body it needs for can tolerate at times, and ended up in quite serious predicaments. So we're abusing our bodies, but just think we can't get a new body. I know technology has moved on. Maybe one day we will, but at the moment we can't replace fully the body we've got. We've only been given one body, so we need to take care of it. We need to take care of it. Sometimes we treat our mobile phones better than we treat our bodies. Sometimes we treat our cars. There's some people that love their cars. They'll polish it every week. They'll put the finest petrol in it. It's got the finest interior in it. Take so much time and value. Do they invest that much time and value in their own bodies? Question to be asked. Sometimes we put more value in objects and things that have been marketed to us that will improve our lives than we do ourselves. So I'm just trying to, and this was all, I'm talking to myself more than I'm talking to you guys out there, because it's just something that's affecting me when personally, continues to affect me, and there's steps I need to take and time I need to create to really look into, and money I've got to invest as well. And if I'm going to have to speak to a nutritionist or whatever, I'm going to have to pay for it. But if ultimately I'm going to be healthy, then that's an investment in myself that's definitely worth having. A lot of us have health insurance or life insurance, but we're not prepared to invest the money in ourselves to have the best of ourselves. So I hope you guys have found this of value. Just a little think when you're. I tend to find when I get stressed sometimes I tend to eat a lot more. Something I'm making a real attempts to cut, to get out of the habit, or just because food is there. Um, Working in an office is yeah, working in an office can sitting at a desk all day. Sometimes you get in the habit of just eating things. Like today, there's something I usually have I'm quite a routine person, so I tend to have the same food at similar times as snacks and stuff. I said to myself I didn't actually need to have that popcorn that I usually have in the afternoon. I didn't have it, and as a Christian, fasting is something that comes up in the Bible, and I feel on a slightly different tangent that's kind of been lost in the modern Christian faith about fasting. So the body can actually go for days without having food. Water, liquid, that's a different matter. The body can actually go for days without. But sometimes when we say we're hungry, we don't know the meaning of hunger. But a lot of it's mental, as a lot of people know have challenges of trying to lose weight. And most of it is up here in our mind, what we say to ourselves, what we think we need, the environment we put ourselves in. So I can go for hours about this. It's a journey I'm very much on at the moment. There is a lot more knowledge about these things nowadays, gluten free and so many other things. That's the other thing we think. Just because something is gluten free doesn't mean it's healthy. That's like another talk we can put in our heads. These gluten free biscuits, I've had 10 of them. They must be really healthy. No, a biscuit is a biscuit, whether it's gluten free or not, is not healthy. So stop telling yourself that. Or for me, stop telling myself that. Trying to convince myself that it's healthy just because it hasn't got gluten. Gluten's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just certain people can't tolerate it. I'm one of those people. So it's a journey that I'm very much on at the moment. If anyone knows any nutritionists or coaches or anyone who's got experience and knowledge they can link me up with, send me a comment, send me a message. I'd really appreciate it. And you coaches and nutritionists out there, try and push to get something out there in the mainstream education system. People need to know about this stuff. We need to fight back against these companies I'm not saying there's no good companies out there, but I gave the example earlier of this company trying to market themselves as organic. There's companies out there who just want to make money and will just market whatever they want to market to put their product in the best light, which is what marketing is. So I'm going to love you leave on that one. Hope this makes up for missing out yesterday. This should be the last one for the week. Be up on YouTube. I've just looked up to Twitter recently, so I'm going to try and get a link on Twitter. Yeah, I actually got an email from Twitter saying, "Do you know how to tweet?" That's definitely a work in progress. But thank you everyone for joining. Lucy, my wife, are you supposed to be watching, or you just clicked on me by accident again? No, she's saying, I don't think she's ever watching in my videos. Yeah, but she says, she gave me a lovely compliment. She said, she knows me, and she knows the wisdom I've shared with her from day one. So I suppose I can forgive her for that. But Rahat, thank you for watching. Josh, thank you for watching. James, thank you for watching in the comments. Suleiman, thank you for watching. Lucy, I love you. James has given me food for thought search. Dr. Aram, RA YouTube. Blonde my mind, James? Did you mean blow my mind? Is that a typo? I do it all the time. Alright, I'll have a look at Dr. Aram. It's like that one. Blown, yeah. Thanks, James. You can tell I've done that before. Blow my mind. Okay, I'll check him out. Dr. Aram, people. James Gurner has recommended Dr. Aram. So, yeah, let's check him out. I'm going to save that one and have a look. Thank you. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday. More Caesar wisdom, sprinkling all that stuff out there. Hopefully you're finding value in it. I'm out.